Make up rumors that I have CP and I'm a prostitute because I won't date you? Goodbye to your new $150,000 car, and hello prison and a ruined life. Edit. Since people keep saying this is not real because I called it a small town, but it has a big school. When you grow up in the same town with the same kids and same siblings and same families and same houses and jobs and clubs and sports, for 18 years straight, it gets small and feels small. Sorry, it's not a population of 3 and dropping. Further, you could easily find the article about this crime, proving it did happen. If mods need proof, I have it all. Characters. Me, 18M, unmedicated senior. Psycho incel, referred to as PI, M16. So for backstory, I was the only gay kid in what felt like my entire small deep south southern town, and came out very young, so that identity kinda stuck. My family was mostly very supportive, and I'm grateful for that because outside of 2 to 3 friends, I might as well have had a scarlet A branded to my forehead. Eventually, though, a few other people came out, one being PI, a very wealthy, spoiled, all-American entitled kid who drove a very, very expensive new car. Now, when he first came out, it was to no one's surprise, but regardless, a mutual friend was worried it would be a hard time and asked if I would befriend him, give him tips on how to get through it, etc. I of course said yes. Big mistake. Now by this time, I never cared what anyone thought because the people who mattered had already made it apparent, and vice versa. So, I was pretty open about the fact that I was actively dating someone much, much older than me. I don't want to hear it, that's not the point of the story, and it was a wonderful and healthy relationship that my conservative traditional dad even supported, so shut up. Now, after getting coffee with PI and being friendly, he apparently developed feelings for me, and after he confessed, I gently told him I was seeing someone and that I was very happy. This was common knowledge in our gossip-ridden high school anyhow, and that was apparently not acceptable to PI, and he went ballistic. In small towns, there are often what's known as junior-senior wars, where the 2 grades have a war of harmless, albeit annoying pranks. However, our school was not completely uncivilized, so there was a group chat for both grades to discuss rules, limits, such as no damaging, no hitting houses if someone expressed that they weren't participating, renting, etc. Well, in that group chat with over 1,000 kids, PI thought it would be a great time to drop bombshell number 1. I had expressed that I was not participating, to not hit my house, it's rented, and so on and so forth. QPI responding directly and saying, "What, you can't afford to buy it with all the money you've been making being a prostitute for your 50-year-old boyfriend?" I would like to say, first off, my boyfriend was nowhere near that age. I saw red. I loved that man to death and felt a forehead vein practically hemorrhage. Safe to say the rumor passed throughout the high school and the community. My coaches took me aside. Our extra religious teachers tormented me more, and I was a pariah. Oh well, I had acceptance to a top university, my friends, boyfriend, and family. I was almost done. Then the next rumor dropped, and this is when I went nuclear. One day, I got a call from my friend, and immediately I knew something was wrong. Apparently, little PI had decided it was a good idea to lie and tell people I had 1. Cheated on my boyfriend, 2. Made a video with him, and 3. It was with a junior, someone under 18. None of which was remotely true. Thankfully, he was very popular and very straight, and also was an obsession of PI's and knew where it came from, and he agreed to, in writing, express none of this was true, and gave me copious amounts of evidence, screenshots of texts, Instagram DMs, etc. of PI's online harassment. I kept all of this in a file just in case this ever got out and I needed to defend myself, and thankfully it never became more than a funny, impossible, salacious story made up about me. However, it was too late for him, as I was already very mentally unstable, and this would have ruined everything I was riding on. Now on to the revenge, finally. So not only was PI's car brand new, but it was a new car because he had destroyed his old one and was not getting another. Love small town gossip, but also driving through someone's house is pretty conspicuous, lol. Now, I'll admit I did not come up with this. I read it in a fanfiction, but it actually worked out very well. First thing I did was go to the furthest bait and tackle shop I could find and bought catfish bait. Now, if you don't fish, you might not know, but catfish love the stinkiest, smelliest bait you can find, and I bought a whole jar of the slop. I knew the parking lot of my school had no security or cameras because my car had already been vandalized. I did embrace the F-word carved into my door with pride eventually, and then I got to work in the cold February morning. First thing I did was hammer nails into 3 of his tires. Now, this wouldn't pop them immediately, but they would eventually each deflate at much more inconvenient places and nails would look more accidental than if they were slashed. Then, I took poison ivy and rubbed it all over the door handles of his car. Afterwards, I took a mix of gravel and Vaseline and spread it all over the windshield wipers, which would just scratch the hell out of it once he used them. My favorite, however, was using the catfish bait. Knowing enough about cars, i.e. copious Googling, I figured out how to get to the AC portion and poured in the catfish bait. Sadly, I wouldn't be able to witness this, but he wouldn't be using his AC for another month or so since it's still cold. All that time for it to rot, fester, congeal, and the first day it's warm and he decides to blast AC, his car will be filled with the fumes of 1,000 rotten piles of roadkill and low tide without any idea where it's coming from or how to get rid of it. The next part of this story is honestly out of pure dumb luck, and I can't claim complete responsibility for the universe's work. However, I, being the obsessive paranoid type, would check his socials from a burner account now and again, perhaps hoping to hear about his fishy car, or to see if he aired out more rumors about me. One day I found something odd. Nothing. Every single social media was gone. Out of pure curiosity, I Googled his name and found something very juicy and very crazy. He was arrested in an entirely different state for attempting to impersonate a government official and bring a gun into a theme park. Safe to say that didn't fly, but it also did not get enough traction as I would like. And thus, I sent it to everyone I knew in our small town. His summer job, future college, our high school, that giant group chat of over 1,000 people? Yeah, got sent there as well. By the end of the day, he was a pariah, jobless, and collegeless. I left my town, and honestly haven't heard anything about him since, but I can't imagine he amounted to much being that insane. And with that type of crime as well. TLDR guy is mad I won't date him, tells my town I'm a prostitute because of the age difference, then further tries to tell people I'm a pedo. So I destroy his car and ruin his reputation. Subscribe and like for more videos.